again!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Firstpost with me, Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, can Japan turn things around for them in football? That glory in 2011 seems to be a long time in the past. What ambitious plans does this country have in their quest to not only reignite that sport in the country, but also challenge and upstage the West? Speaking of the West, Lionel Messi, after winning over footballing countries, has gained massive fandom in America. Numbers suggest he is the primary reason for the success of Major League Soccer and football as a sport growing in the US. More on that in the show. And who is the new Liberty in women's basketball winning team, New York Liberty? Why is the world getting wooed by Sabrina Ionescu? But first, the headlines.
Starting with cricket, New Zealand bundle out India for 156 runs in the first test on day 2. Mitchell Satner led the charge with 7 wickets as the Black Caps took a lead of 103 runs. In reply, New Zealand scored 198 for 5 at the end of day's play and they lead by 301 runs. Over in football, Manchester United were held to a 1-1 draw by Turkish club Fenerbahce. United drew first blood by a midfielder Christian Eriksen. After 4 minutes into the second half, the Turkish side levelled the score. Striker Yusuf En-Nesyri found the back of the net to equalise. Moving to tennis, third seed Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria has crashed out of the Vienna Open. He was defeated by Tomas Mahac of the Czech Republic in the round of 16. Dimitrov won the first set 6-1, but his opponent rallied back to secure the next 2 sets 6-3 and 6-4. The encounter lasted 2 hours and 31 minutes. In basketball, Dallas Mavericks made a winning start to their NBA campaign. Mavericks beat San Antonio Spurs 120-109 points. 4-time NBA champion Klay Thompson made an immediate impact on his Mavericks debut as he scored 22 points. Luka Doncic was the star of the show with 28 points. And summing it up with news from chess, world number 3 Arjun Erigesi scripted history by hitting the much sought-after ELO rating of 2800. He surpassed the mark after defeating Grandmaster Dmitry Andrikhin. The 21-year-old is the youngest and the second Indian to have achieved this feat, after the former 5-time world chess champion Vishwanathan Anand.
Japan is moving from their traditional standpoint. No, they aren't shifting away from their cultural values. That is still very much intact. But they are planning to add more dimension to their sporting culture. While Japan is still focused on baseball, sumo wrestling and Olympic sports, they are getting serious about women's football too. Maybe taking a leaf out of a country that introduced baseball in Japan, America, who are getting serious about cricket and men's football. Basically, sporting disciplines beyond baseball, basketball and American football. And just like how America organized Men's Cricket World Cup to make cricket popular, Japan wants to organize the 2031 Women's World Cup to make the sport popular in the country again. The reason behind that is to ignite the domestic competitions and to boost women's football in Japan, to get it up to the standards of Europe, Northern America and all of America.
We would like to raise the value of women's football here. We have the V League and it has been struggling to gather an audience. We would like to increase the number of women players here.
That statement from Miyamoto highlights a concerning aspect about Japanese footballing culture itself. Sure, football is still a sport that is followed largely in the country, but women's sport isn't as popular as men's. Which is quite ironic because unlike the men's team, the women's side has been former world champions. They won their only title in 2011 and in the next edition in 2015, they even reached the final. So clearly they were once a giant force in footballing world. Even if you go by the current FIFA rankings, the women's side are higher ranked compared to their male counterparts. While Japan's male side, with their competitive display, have secured 15th position in the world, the women continue to hold their 7th spot with their consistent quarter-final finishes in most of the FIFA World Cups. But despite this, the women have failed to build a strong fan base in their own country. What's the reason behind this? Football still isn't as popular as other sports like baseball and a few other Olympic sporting disciplines. Fans tend to gravitate towards that, focus on those. The other reason, of course, is the infrastructure. Football requires a certain infrastructure which forces the country to keep organizing football events and tournaments through the year to keep that going. That's something Japan has failed to do.
They have their own culture. They have football in their daily lives. We haven't built that kind of community here in Japan. I'd like to make football our culture in Japan. In Europe, clubs are very strong, but in Japan, clubs are not that strong.
As Miyamoto realizes, the culture plays a huge role in shaping sports in the country. If the fan base isn't backing the athletes, how will the sport really grow? We just recently witnessed North Korea's under-20 side win the Women's World Cup. It was their historic third title, and yet this was the reaction from their fans. Despite North Korea being a giant force in under-20 World Cups, they haven't been somehow able to translate that kind of success onto the senior national sides. While many factors contributed to that, the biggest has been the lack of fan following and lack of international exposure. North Korean government isn't keen on allowing their players to travel and play outside, yes, but that's not the case with Japan. The country wants more. And the way they see that happening is, one, by organizing the Football World Cup in 2031. Hosting a World Cup is key to establishing a sporting culture and grooming it. Two, give their side the full backing to perform in front of the home crowd. Fill the stadiums with fans, young school kids, to come and support and cheer the players on. But the desire won't be an easy one to fulfill, because reports also suggest America and Mexico want to bid for the 2031 Women's World Cup, pitting these powerhouses against each other in the football arena as well. But Japan is keen on beating America to it in this regard. Lionel Messi is shaking things up. It seems like every time Cristiano Ronaldo ups his game, his record YouTube channel launch for instance, Lionel Messi has to try and do one better. Now, we of course love it, as it just gets the game more interesting and the rivalry more intense even in the last phase of their careers. The story today: how is Lionel Messi winning over America with his charm on the football field? He seems to be the main reason why MLS has been such a massive success in terms of viewership, revenue and attendance. And what's more, now there is also a Messi cam that will stream football as never before. Take a look.
When Lionel Messi joined MLS club Inter Miami in 2023, it was bound to shake up the football culture in America. It started with Messi catching the American bug with his bad boy endeavors, and by celebrating his goals with Marvel superhero celebrations. The American colour was visible on the former Barcelona superstar, and the love shared wasn't just one way. Because while the 37-year-old was embracing the USA, the country reciprocated by falling in love with Lionel Messi. After the completion of his first full season with Inter Miami, Messi mania proves the impact the Argentina footballer has had, not just regarding Inter Miami, but also over the growth of Major League Soccer. The jaw-dropping numbers show just how much Messi has revitalized the MLS. Because of the Messi effect, the MLS hit record attendance marks and saw expanded sponsorship revenue in the 2023-2024 season. The league reported a 5% increase in viewers watching the match from stadiums in the past 1 year. A total of 11.45 million spectators came to the venues to watch the current MLS season. And if you compare that to 2022, when Messi was playing in Paris for PSG, the number of viewership in MLS was 14% lesser. The hype to watch Messi was astronomical through the year. And it wasn't just regular football supporters that thronged the stadiums. A majority of A-list celebrities that included the likes of Selena Gomez, Leonardo DiCaprio, even the royalty couldn't stay away, as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle couldn't wait to catch a glimpse of Lionel Messi. And even a legend from basketball in the form of LeBron James came to watch the star in action. And because of this, Messi did the unthinkable. He reveled in uncharted territories. He brought the viewership of football in a country like America that focuses on basketball and American football. 2 of Inter Miami's matches exceeded 70,000 fans and 5 crossed the 50,000 mark. But the biggest was visible during the match against Sporting Kansas City, 72,610 spectators in the city of Kansas that was reveling in the Super Bowl glory of the Chiefs. Proving that Messi is making a buzz even in the NFL-dominated cities and is even capturing baseball fans, something that football veteran Zlatan Ibrahimovic predicted before Messi's arrival. It isn't just the in-stadium presence where the magic has spread, the digital world has seen a massive boost too.
I'm happy for them. They can watch football again. When I left, they started watching baseball.
With a 26% jump in followers on TikTok, a 21% increase on YouTube, and a 10% increase on Instagram. Messi is leaving his mark on the digital world too. And all that over just 1 year span of time. The footballer's contract runs until 2025. And as Americans continue to embrace the sport and get ready to host the 2026 World Cup, maybe this is just the trailer of what Messi can achieve over the next year. Because we've already seen a huge influx in merchandise sales. The once popular jerseys like Messi's iconic number 10 Barcelona or Argentina t-shirts are facing tough competition from Messi's Inter Miami jerseys. And if he continues to play beyond 2025, the Argentine may make the league and Inter Miami a household name in North America. Because the Messi mania is expected to grip the United States for years to come.
New York Liberty won their maiden women's NBA championship title earlier this week. But the city is still celebrating the historic win because the side achieved something that even the New York Knicks have failed to do in over 5 decades, bring New York a title. And the biggest contributor to that success has been Sabrina Ionescu, the new Liberty of New York, who is making women's basketball popular through her impressive display and also proving that right investment in women's sport can yield success. And while Ionescu has been crucial behind this rise, there is a Steph Curry influence somewhere in there too. Let's find out.
The New York Liberty, a franchise with a rich history but no women's NBA championship titles, finally broke the curse in 2024. The team won their first championship title in 6 attempts in the final. And the biggest contributor was Sabrina Ionescu. The point guard led the charge to bring glory to New York's basketball culture. While the city boasts a heavy fan following and an immense affection for the sport, they have been devoid of glory for years. Even the men's side, the New York Knicks, have failed to win an NBA championship in over half a century. Liberties did what their male counterparts could not do, bring joy to the city. New York exploded with excitement following the historic win. From parades to street parties, the buzz was palpable. The women did what the men's side could not, despite years of spending and fan following. There is a drastic difference in spending between the two sides. While the Knicks spent close to $170 million on their players, the Liberties have only spent $1.5 million. There is a contrast in the valuations of the teams too. Knicks is valued at around $7.5 billion, whereas the Liberties are pegged at $200 million. And it's not just the monetary side that makes the Knicks a giant force. They have a huge fan base too, one of the biggest in the NBA. The team has enjoyed many mentions in popular TV sitcoms like Friends. It's like New York is doing everything to make them the most popular team. Even those who don't follow basketball know about the Knicks. And yet the male team have failed to win their conference title in 25 years. Despite the funding, the limelight and the city's backing, the team has failed for years. On the other hand, the triumph by New York Liberty proves that the right investment in sports is more important. The WNBA champions brought in Brianna Stewart, a 2-time MVP, as a free agent. Jonquel Jones, a former MVP, added depth to their front court. And the star for the Liberties has been Sabrina Ionescu. Her continued development has been crucial for the team's success, with a 43% shooting average from beyond the arc. Sabrina has proved that she can stretch defenses and make clutch shots when it matters the most. Sabrina has averaged 18.2 points this season with an impressive assist rate of 6.2 per game. She's not just a player, she's a revolutionary force in women's basketball. Even giving competition to the Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark, who is slowly becoming the face of women's NBA. But it's not just the numbers that make Sabrina special. The 26-year-old is somebody who is not afraid to take on legends like Steph Curry. Earlier this year, Sabrina challenged Curry to a three-point contest. And while playing against Curry, she did not bow down easily. She competed like nothing separated her and the Golden State Warrior player. The competition against Curry was intense. Curry even admired Sabrina for her efforts, and he made sure to show her some love throughout the season. Growing up in California, Sabrina watched Curry redefine the game with his incredible shooting skills and work ethic. The same has been implemented by Sabrina in her career. She looks up to the legend, and quite the right role model to have. With Sabrina shining for New York and Caitlin Clark making the women's basketball popular once again, the competition is going to get even more intense next season. The WNBA has gone from not having a known face in basketball to now having two athletes who are making the sport an intense affair. The Women's League has seen a significant rise in popularity, with viewership up 35% over the last season alone. Sabrina and Clark are at the forefront of this movement, inspiring the next generation of female athletes. The potential for women's sports to gain the recognition they deserve looks evident, paving the way for exciting times for women's sports.
Time for last serve, 50th anniversary of the biggest fight in boxing, known as Rumble in the Jungle. That was celebrated. We bring you some never-seen-before moments of how Muhammad Ali and George Foreman prepared for that historic bout. Take a look. That wraps it up here on Firstpost today. Have a lovely weekend. I'll, of course, see you on the other side. Take care. Bye-bye.